All right, hello everyone. I'm alive. Sorry about the absence. I thought I was getting better sometime last week, but my cold got its second wind and said, haha, no bitch. So, yeah, that was fun. Hacking up a lung is never a fun time. However, though, in my downtime, Warframe had an update, and our boy here, Vauban, the old train man, he got himself a little bit of a light rework. I believe they call it a retouch. And I played Vauban a little bit prior to this. I've never quite been like a Vauban main or like avid Vauban user. But with these changes, that might be a little different. I have found a build that I do really enjoy and I do like. I'm going to show multiple builds, of course, not just the one build that I like. But yeah, let's just get into it. And also, I love his new skin that they have. This is clean. Before we get into the build, the shards are going to give away a little bit about what I'm going to be doing as a whole. But I'm running 2 Tau Forged Topaz shards for the maximum health. This will give me an extra 900 when I kill a bunch of enemies with blast damage, which his 3 does blast damage, and then spoiler alert, it's not just ability blast damage. It's just any type of blast damage. So yeah, you can run some weapons that do blast, and then that will also stack that up as well. And then you don't need both of these, I don't think. One, I would say you probably need at least one of, but the other one can just be, it can be casting speed. It could be, I'm running 2 energy max shards in here. It could be a 3rd energy max. It could be power strength. It could be, it can be whatever you realistically like want or need it to be. It doesn't have to be this. I just have it there because it's funny, and I have another shard. So I just showed off the 2 energy max shards that I have because in the spoiler, it's a persistence build. In the persistence build that I have, I am not running primed flow. You can. There's like a mod slot that you can take out to run it, but I am not at current running that. And then I'm also running the armor shard here. The armor shard is to get us above that 700 threshold for persistence, so that's basically on like when we start just playing, and even if we're not in our Bastille R4 giving us more armor, persistence doesn't just magically turn off, which can be a little bit of an issue and a problem. But that kind of gets around that. The other issues or problems are like when you just get like heat procced or corrosive procced and things like that. But the Bastille itself giving us, I believe it's now up to like 1500 armor. That makes it so that like those procs and whatnot don't really do too much and don't decrease your armor by enough to make persistence turn off. Magnetic procs will still get you though, so watch out for those, and so will violence. And we're going to go into the build here. All right. And I alluded to this earlier, but the build that I have kind of come to like a lot is persistence, and it's persistence with gloom. I think gloom boom is pretty appropriate considering the augment mod I'm running here. But yeah, we've got the duration, energy, just the suite of umbral mods, which yes, you will need an umbral forma to basically do this, and I get that is for some people that's kind of a make or break thing, but it's just what I like. I don't think one umbral forma is like that bad, but I can understand people not wanting to just go for it. And then I've just got a little bit of range here. for Gloom, and then his other kits, his other abilities. And then I'm on the Photon Repeater. The 3 now, well, it always dealt blast damage, but with it just being like better, more damage, scaling higher, it just being an overall better ability, we can actually like I think build around this now and actually have some fun with it. At least I've had a lot of fun with it. Gloom will make sure that enemies aren't, moving too much. We're healing. Gloom is just really, really good here. I try to make other things work, but I'm sorry, Gloom is just kind of the call here. This build isn't focusing on the fleshlight orbs. I will talk about those when I get to like the whatever tab that I have there for like that build, or builds plural. That one's kind of, well, again, it's whatever you want it to be. But yeah, I'm not quite going to go through those. But the vector pad, that's a little bit of fun, just giving him some speed, damage bonuses and things like that. I do think that that's kind of nice. And then Bastille, shredding armor, vortex sucking enemies in. All that stuff is fun. All that stuff is still the same. Vauban is Vauban. Nothing else really different there. Let's see here. Persistence, of course, the namesake of the build. And then I'm running Molt Augmented here just for more strength, to get Gloom up to a higher slow. And then the more strength also helps with the Photon Strike dealing more damage. If you didn't want to run the Archon shards that I have, the Topaz shards for the health, you could like take this out, and then you could throw in something like Blessing to get health that way, because I don't think 1,000 health here is going to quite cut it. If you have just one of the shards, I think being at almost like 1,500, because the 450th and that gives you almost 1,500, I think that's fine. But I think 1,000 for me personally is a little bit low for health for a persistence build, but this is what I've kind of gravitated towards and whatnot. The build that I was trying out before this was a shield tanking build. Again, using the photon repeater. I just like it. And don't worry, I'll talk about the Tesla Bank Augment here in a second. But this is what I was running for a little bit, just kind of shield taking with Aegis and doing all of that kind of just fun business. Using Nourish. Nourish, I think, was just like the ability that I just kind of gravitated towards. I tried using like other abilities or ways to like get energy and things like that, but the viral priming, especially for Vauban and doing things with him, is just really, really good, and it's kind of hard to beat. I did try out like Roar for a little bit. Roar was nice, but just the extra energy that you get with Nourish, it's just kind of hard to beat with Vauban for me. And that's basically this build in a nutshell. It's just like the shield version of the persistence build, but I like the persistence build just a little bit more because I get to live. Because with the shield tanking, if like 1,000 shields is nice, but like if these don't go off necessarily, and there's an enemy that's shooting you and they can't be, they're not in the Bastille, or they're, let's say they're an Eximus and they just don't care if you have a Bastille. Yeah, they're just going to shoot you in the face. And that is something that I was running into. Now that I say that is a me problem, and that could very well just be a me problem. Because while I've been sick, I have looked at a few builds where people just do not care about survivability because they think that having the Bastille and having the Tesla Nervos just shocking everything, everyone's in the Bastille are being shocked, like that's enough survivability, so they just don't care. I am not that good with Vauban yet, and I don't know if I ever will be. But that is a thing that I have seen people do. They just kind of don't care about survivability and just do Vauban things and they make it work. Speaking of Vauban things, I have seen a lot of very creative builds with Tesla Bank, especially with this being Vauban's subsume. If you're not quite a fan of like the photon strike, like I am, and you think I'm crazy for like not running Tesla Nervos and then Tesla Bank, hey, guess what? It's an easy swap out. Just put Gloom over here, then you've got Tesla Nervos over here, then you can just throw the augment right here in this slot. Bada bing, bada boom, you're good. And then if you didn't want to use either of those augments, this is where you would throw flow into the mix. I don't have there's not enough mod capacity in the build for prime flow, so yeah. You would have to probably throw another Omniforma on this and then run Steel Charge to get the more capacity. For me, this is fine just to make this work and whatnot. I haven't had any issues with this, so if you're worried about this being a rank 5, it's fine, trust me. Well, trust me, you're going to see the run when I do it here a little later. Also, while I was looking into Vauban, there's just a lot of like different builds and different ways that you can use and play him, and I feel like he's one of those Warframes where, you know, if you give him some time and attention and some investment, I feel like there is a build kind of for everyone for Vauban. I think there aren't too many frames that are like that. I think like there are just certain frames where it's like, you know, either you like the Warframe, you like the build and play style, or you don't. Vauban is one of the ones where I think like someone just has to find like their version of Vauban that they like, and I think I found mine, and that's why I want to share this. And then in addition to like talking about all the other things that Vauban can do, I'm going to talk about the flechette orbs, because I was looking into this a little bit, because there are like just like invisible caster builds where you just like run abilities on him, and then you run arcanes like Arcane Arachne here, and then that gets you a damage bonus on your 2. Crepuscular gets you a damage bonus on that as well, making that do more damage, and that damage scales infinitely. So that can be something that you want to do. I have seen people do that. I'm not the invisible builds, depending on like what they are, I think they can be fun and whatnot. They're not, some of them aren't quite my cup of tea, but I obviously am acknowledging that for Vauban it is quite good, especially with like how his 2 and those flechette orbs work. But yeah, that's about it for just the overall build. I didn't talk about PSF, but that just kind of speaks for itself, of course. If you don't think you need this, then you can run, you know, something else, maybe a little bit more range, maybe more power strength, you know, whatever. But that'll be, you know, more Forma, of course, because I'm a little strapped for capacity at the moment. And then before I talk about the weapons and and that little loadout, I want to talk about the companions. So I have my Panzerwelpe here, good old Lupus. So he is here to just go ahead and help me with viral priming. Since I don't have Nourish to go ahead and just make that be seamless, I'm going to use the Panzerwelpe here to just kind of, you know, spread the space aids, if you will. And this is the build that I'm running for his claws. You saw the build for the Panzerwelpe earlier. Nothing crazy. That's why I didn't really talk too much about it. I'm not breaking new ground or nothing. But for the claws, for those who are uninitiated, the Shocking Claws mod here turns it into electricity, which changes the ability damage of the quills. So this will also do electric damage, which will then, because that is an... Whoop, went back too far. So since that is an ability, and that does count as ability damage, that does work with Archon Stretch. Just like how with Diriga, how his thing works. Same thing for the Panzer Vulpaphyla. Now, granted, that doesn't quite matter for the persistence build because we have a channeled ability with Gloom, but, just stating it out there for, if you're wanting to run the shield build, you can still run your Panzer Vulpaphyla, and if you didn't want to run Nourish, or maybe you don't have Nourish to subsume, your Panzer can go ahead and be your substitute. If you wanted to do the invisibility tech for all of that, there's 2 companions that you can do. You can do Shade, and then you can do I think this is right, my Setsuna, I think is my Yep, okay, yep, stock, there we go. So then this Kubro will make you go invisible. And then this is just kind of my build for that. You want to run Tenacious Bond because these crit stats this crit increase does help with the Nervos. And this is just what I run. Again, not breaking any ground, running some mecha stuff. Faster fire rate because of all the shields. Kind of standard. And then for the claws, we don't really, not a whole lot really going on here. Just another mecha set to go ahead and make fill that out a little bit more, and then more crit rate for Tenacious Bond so that we hit that threshold and we get that mod effect for the more crit damage. And then for Shade, if you wanted to run Shade, okay, good. So this has this, so you want to run the Volkalock. I think I said that wrong. To have like the crit rate to get the Tenacious Bond to go ahead and work, and then the Vigilante set will also help with adding more crit rate to whatever primary weapon that you choose to bring. And then the Viral will help also with Viral priming as well. So to go into the Shade build itself, and very important thing here with Shade. So while Shade is invisible, Shade will not attack. He just won't. How you get around this is with Duplex Bond. So when you use, I think it's it says right there it's 100 energy. When you use 100 energy, you're going to make clones. Those clones will then use your modded weapon, the modded weapon on the Sentinel, to then go ahead and then shoot people. And then they'll prime and do all that fun business. That is how you want to basically use Shade to go ahead and prime and do all of that. Because if you don't have Duplex Bond, your Shade isn't going to be priming anything. So as a quick little TLDR, quick little heads up, if you're running Shade, for the love of everything that's good and holy, run Duplex Bond. And then I'm going to switch this back to my Lupus. There we go. And then I've showed off the base assist on my earlier builds, but just as a little refresher, this is the base assist with Bulwark. I'm running the Bulwark variant of this just because of its Bastios are going to be everywhere pretty much. So we're always going to pretty much have like the max effect of Bulwark more or less all the time, so I'm not too concerned with it. And it still does a lot of damage already, so if I'm missing some damage, it'll be fine. So I'm not too concerned. We're also running the Epitaph here, just a little basic priming build just to spread some more Viral. I want to try and Viral proc as much as I can. Pretty standard here, just running. Maybe the one interesting thing here is the amalgam barrel diffusion, just so I can dodge a little bit more. But everything else here, fairly normal, fairly standard. Not, again, not breaking, I think, too much ground, just wanting to apply some statuses just to get those on the enemies and then rock them with the 3. And then the path assist here, just doing influence things with all of that. Note that with the Coda Path Assist, it has viral by default. So in addition to also having the electricity, viral will also be primed on them as well whenever you throw this thing and detonate it. So that is pretty good, and I do like that extra utility of this weapon. I've been using this a good bit since it came out with the infested liches. I forget their name for the life of me. I can't wait to be out this cold. But just a standard, glaive build setup here. Not, doing anything too new. I feel like just, it. You can't fix what's broken, so this is just kind of what works, and I like it. And I think that covers everything pretty much. So let's go into a little survival. Just going to be a quick little 5 minutes in and out and get this done, and then show off the gloom, the gloom, the persistence, all of that, just to show all that off.
The art of combat must be
Get a little bit of energy with Zeneric to go ahead and do that. Oi. And then because you're running Gloom on this, you don't have to run Zeneric. I just like getting the extra energy. You can probably run, I think it's Moderize that has the extra power strength in it, so you could like do that. And then, yep, things are already dying. Launch that out. Throw this down. Whee! Whoa, I went far. And there's that. I call it a boom for a reason. All right, let's. Oop, I can't do that. And I'm getting shot, so I'm getting more energy. Yay! And there's all that. I don't even think they have their armor stripped. Like, his 3 just does a lot of damage. So let's pepper some enemies. Let's throw this back out. Launch that. Yeah, things just die. Like right now with Vauban. And again. See, and like I'm not even like really using my weapons too much aside from just to like prime, so that's why I showed off the invisibility kind of setup and what you want and need for that. Because I think that like on Vauban with like all of his new changes, I think that is, like fairly pretty practical to do. Just not my quite, cup of tea, as it were. And I'm getting things all nicely stacked up here. I even have my Bastille up right now because I'm trying to get hurt a little bit so I can. There we go. I got more energy. There we go. And more. See, we're almost at like that 1900 health mark.
Get ready for a capsule.
And some of these guys are armor. There we go. Yep, just can shoot with this. 6 million. 8 million. I was hoping I was going to get something higher than 8 million.
I've delivered another life support
2
capsule.
million. Like, Vauban is just a... I feel like he's pretty much just like a general purpose service kind of Warframe at the moment, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that these changes to Vauban have been really good. Let's all suck them in. Let's do this. This. They're all gonna die. Actually, there's more down here. Use that. Use this. Use this again. Man, that free cast you get from the augment. Sorry, my brain just went to Pluto. Is really, really good. And I'm a big, big fan of it. And that's enough of them shooting at me, because I have more energy. Throw that. Throw that. Do that, and boom. Yeah, like this is Vauban now. Like kind of. To me, this is kind of nutty. Like, I didn't mess with him too much from like back in the day. He was just mostly just like the CC man. But you know, seeing this now and everything, man.
Our operative is making progress. This
Craziness.
will help our cause. When you are ready.
Oh, and then,
extraction.
yep, that did double damage. I think it does double damage because of having him overguard. And then I can... Oop, where did he go? He vanished. Where'd he go? Oh, he's over here. Throw that, and he's gone. Throw an execution there for style points. And yeah, this is Vauban. He's just a lot of fun. He just causes explosions. He makes it so enemies can't really do much. Go away. How the hell did you look? Go away. Like, there's not a whole lot that most of the enemies in the game can really do about all this right now. Which is good. I'm glad that Vauban is a lot better. And actually, I should have cast my Gloom from earlier. I should have recast that to get the bonus from Multi-Augmented. That's funny. I did all that with just base Gloom.
As you conquer the foe,
Alright, well, it's good to be
so
back.
you
I plan on
conquer
making more
yourself.
vids. If you stuck around to the end, thank you. Catch you later. Bye.